So, hi everyone, my name is Caroline Link, and I really love to talk. Not just talking in general, I'm actually a fairly quiet person, but when I get up on a stage and make a presentation or speech like this one, that's when I really feel like I've come alive. Something that gives me a lot of joy is being able to share my thoughts and opinions with others and hearing about theirs as well. I love having those tough conversations that either help you to affirm your ideas and values or make you question why you feel a certain way. I try to seek out these situations and conversations, but in order to have one, I have to first be well informed. I strive to become as informed as possible about current events, social issues, and politics, and value building an opinion about those subjects and sharing them with others. I believe that this interest developed from multiple experiences, but was first cultivated at the kitchen table. Whenever my extended family comes together, it's normal for them to end up having a debate or discussion about politics or a current event. And an important aspect of these conversations was that my family included me in them, no matter how young I was. If I was sitting at the kitchen table when my family was talking, eventually they would almost always turn to me and say, "Caroline, what do you think?" And they meant it too. My family had no problem putting me on the spot and letting me sweat it out until I came up with an answer. The same applied for questions that they thought I could answer myself. I was always met with a, "Caroline, what do you think the answer is?" Both of these experiences were not uncommon in my childhood, and they helped me to think about what my own ideas were and share them rather than relying on others. I still grew up to be a fairly quiet child and didn't like to talk much in school, but I discovered my love for public speaking in the 4th grade. Every other week, from 4th to 6th grade, my elementary school classroom had a debate. At first, I was extremely nervous about these debates, because though we were partnered with other students, everyone was expected to participate. So no matter how much I didn't want to get up in front of my entire classroom and talk, I had to. The debates were a big source of stress for me, and I often had to rely on my partners to tell me what I should say. However, by the end of 6th grade, I had gained so much confidence in my debates that I was even ending each argument with banging my fist on the podium and saying, "My name is Caroline Antoinette Link, and I approve this message." I had learned to love debating, and I never wanted to stop. In middle school, I continued to develop my passion and public speaking skills in Model United Nations. In this elective, I was assigned a UN committee, a relevant global issue, and a country. I was expected to do research, write a position paper on the topic from the perspective of my country, and then present it at a conference. At these conferences, the committees held roughly 50 delegations, so about 100 students from all over Massachusetts. We would present our country's view to the group, and we're expected to come together to form a reasonable resolution that was applicable to real life. And let me tell you, that was hard. Having to form an in-depth and true-to-life opinion of an issue that you haven't heard of before for your country, and then sharing and debating those ideas and solutions to a room of 98 kids who you've never met before is absolutely terrifying. However, I also learned that is really fun for me. Needing to come up with real-world solutions for the failing healthcare system in Ghana, the protection of rights of Indigenous people in China, and failed states as a 7th and 8th grader sparked my realization of my love for becoming informed about tough topics and working to tackle them by collaborating with others. Freshman year was very difficult for me. I felt that a part of me was missing. Some small piece of me, of who I was, had gone away, and it left me feeling uninspired, unengaged, and unhappy. I felt that I had lost my passion. I was no longer excited to go to school like I was in middle school. Now, I was simply going because I was scared of what would happen if I didn't. I spent a large portion of freshman year like that, walking around with an inexplicable and ever-present tiny black hole. I couldn't pinpoint what had happened or what I lost. I just knew that this little hole was growing bigger and bigger and pulling the rest of me into it. Eventually, towards the end of the year, I came to recognize that my sense of emptiness was because I had stopped public speaking and having demanding conversations. Since transitioning to high school, I no longer had a built-in opportunity to share my opinions in class. Of course, we had discussions, but they weren't about our values or opinions anymore, and it left me without my motivation to participate. I had no clue as to how I was going to gain back this part of my personality and redevelop the speaking skills that I lost, but I knew that I had to. And that's when I found out about CSG. One of the main aspects of Coastal Studies for Girls that drew me to apply was the leadership course and public presentations like this one. I thought that they would help me to improve my public speaking skills and boost my confidence in talking informally in class, which is a big weakness of mine. And I was absolutely right. Since middle school, I have struggled with participating in class. Without a set speech to say, I would spend a very long time trying to write them in my head, and by the time I collected all of my thoughts, the opportunity to talk would have passed. The classes and community here have helped me to push myself to speak up in class, something that I rarely did freshman year. This has in turn assisted me in getting better at recognizing and phrasing my ideas on the spot. When we began classes in August, my main goal here was to talk at least once in every class, every day. And for the most part, I've accomplished this. Additionally, at CSG, I've had many opportunities to present without having much time to prepare, which has greatly lifted my confidence, and I now feel much more comfortable talking in front of a group. Another opportunity that I really loved here is that with our close group and the difficult material that we cover, we've been able to have some very tough conversations in class. For example, a few weeks ago, we had a long conversation about racism and the inequalities that women in STEM fields face. Though I didn't always have a good understanding of or a strong opinion on these topics, the discussions allowed me to practice receiving information, forming my own ideas about them, and sharing them with the group. Through these conversations, leadership class, our aquaculture debate, and the marine science research project, CSG has grown my appreciation of becoming well-informed, because being here has reaffirmed the idea that if I'm knowledgeable, then I can take action and make a change. Though CSG helped reinforce this understanding, it was not the first time that I'd realized that being well-informed empowers me to take action. When I was in the 7th grade, I found out about a movement to ban single-use plastic bags in my hometown. I came together with a few of my classmates and a family friend who was working to raise awareness and support of the ban around town. We wrote letters to the chain stores in my area, surveyed local business owners, and spoke at a town council meeting, and worked to inform our community about the harm that plastic bags cause the environment. It took us 2 years of hard work and dedication, but eventually my group succeeded in passing the ban, and now not even the CVS or Kmart in my town are allowed to use single-use plastic bags. Oh, thank you. In my daily life, I work to be as informed as possible by reading as many articles and listening to as many hours of NPR as I can. This has allowed me to have some very interesting and meaningful conversations about the gender wage gap, feminism, and LGBTQ rights with my family and friends. I find that these discussions not only allow me to inform those around me about topics that I feel passionate about, but they also help me to develop my own arguments and thoughts. I've always wanted to make a real difference in this world, and being at CSG has assured me that this is possible. However, I won't know what issues spark my passion, what debates I could have for hours, or what actions I am willing to devote myself to until I learn about them. As we've drawn near to the end of the semester, I've been thinking a lot about how I want to continue to have difficult conversations after I leave. They not only bring me curiosity, drive, and passion, but also make me a more aware global citizen. In my personal experiences with my peers at my high school, I feel that we are desperately underinformed. It sometimes feels like my entire high school exists only in a tiny uniform bubble, unexposed to a variation of perspectives and opinions in our daily lives. In order for us to build an aware, active, and invested generation of people, we need to fix this. Before we're able to take action against injustices that we see in the world, we need to first learn about the issues and how we can work to solve them. And it's about time that I start speaking up. Thank you.